Okay, YouTube is telling me I'm back. I'm sending data out. Oh man, so looks like OBS was dropping frames. When I caught it, it was at 9% of the entire stream's frames. It was just it was sending nothing out, just dropping everything on the ground. But looks like I'm not dropping frames anymore. And we're back to actually sending data out to YouTube. So that's a good thing. We're back. All right, so I don't know exactly when that crashed. The last thing I was just going through enums and what we can do with it, seeing that we can add functions to it, add methods to it, similar to structures, which is a pretty awesome thing to do, especially because we can basically say, so this is where I wanted to sort of play around with it. We're at chapter 6, enums. So I'm gonna close this window. Let's create chapter 6 and cargo new binary. What is it called? It's I'll just play with enums. Switch into enums and code this. All right, so this gives us print line hello world, and what I want to do is sort of create an enum and play around with it. And so one thing I sort of noticed was that we want to create these structures and enums outside of the main function so that we have access to it in a lot of different places. Yes, I know you do. Okay, so what should I create our enum on? They were talking about IP addresses, but we should do something different. It's like the hardest part of programming is figuring out what to name things and what examples to do when testing things out. So I'm going to do an enum. Let's do games. So one thing I've already forgotten is we do use a capital letter for enums too as part of the standard. So we'll do games, and inside of games we will, what are you yelling about? Enums the other, oh, that's fine. Okay, so in here we want to say like we're going to store all the potential games in here. So would that be something, or maybe it would be game, and then we're going to have like the name. If we come back here, so name is going to be like, and then there's all these different structures that we can do. So like the name will be a that will take a string. And you're yelling because name should have a camel case such as name. Ooh, okay. I didn't notice that in here, but you're totally right, it does. So name and maybe like year or age or system. Like I could do system, which is also a string. Okay, so I think these are fine to have here, and then I want to have an implements. And for this implements game, we want to potentially just do like add. function add, and it's going to take in self and a borrowed string, and we're going to return a game. So maybe I'll just call this create. Expected one of colon or at found here. Oh, right, I need to take what this is. So it's going to be the name, like that. All right, now it's just saying the return value is not correct, which is easy for me to say. Now, if we come here and take a look at how they're doing the message, we have this call, let m equals message write, and then that will create the message and add in call. So we'll say self.name. And how does it do this? It just says, oh, it doesn't actually, method body would be defined here. It doesn't say what that would be. So let's play around with it. Self.name equals name. Doesn't like that. Expected enum. Oh, that's because it didn't return. So I want to return a game. How do I create another one? So that home equals IP address, and then pass in these things. So I wonder how I'm going to, let's see, or just return that. No field name on game. There's no field name on game. Oh, okay, so I don't like set it that way. I wonder if it's, that's one of the things I'm sort of sad about, is that it's not actually showing like how you define this and set this message. Because like you're doing the write, and then you can like run these other messages, these other functions here, like, ooh, they don't have calls. So that must be a default method. If you want a constructor function, don't use self. Self is only for oh, right, because it will create its own. And so now I want to create a game. You can address, right, with the double colon. So it's going to be, hold on, let's start over here. Game name and pass it in name. Mismatch types, expected struct, standard string string, found. Oh yes, I need to do string from, like that. And now of course it's never used, so now we can change that with a let I'll just say like Mario equals, and it's going to be game create, and we're going to pass it in Mario Brothers. And now that's the only one not being used. And oh, the system is not being set either. Variant is never constructed. That's fine for right now. Use toString. It's shorter than string from. Oh, like it's just shorter in writing? It's like I could do, instead of string from name, I can do name dot to string. I guess it's a little bit easier to write. I think I read that it's about the same expense-wise also. Okay, so once we have that, then we want to do, now can I set, well, let's print this first. So print line, I want to do the colon question mark Mario, which means that I also need to have this, what is it called? The sort of debug. Let me see if I can remember. It was not no bang. It was it the define? Debug? I don't think that's it. Let's go take a look at what else I had here. Oh, it doesn't see those ones. Hold on, let's go back down to here. Go into chapter 5. Rectangles, source, and we're gonna take a look. It was derive debug. So derive debug with a capital D. Oh, and these are parentheses. Okay, close, just not really. All right, with that done, now I should be able to cargo. Wait, I'm in the wrong directory now. CD chapter 6. So actually, it doesn't matter. I can now do cargo run here. And name Mario Brothers. Okay, so perfect. And the very last thing I want to do, because we're in the end, and oh yeah, so from Felix, if you are really fancy, use the name dot into, which uses type inference and infers the string type. Oh, show that. Derive debug. Yep. So I got that. Thank you, Felix. And then this one. So if you're really fancy, use name.into, which uses type inference and infers the string type based upon what I had here. So it's like, oh, okay. So name.into, and it will just figure it out because of that. Now, one thing I want to try is, can I, after I create this, now add system in? Like, can I say Mario system is NES? Save that. Fail to resolve use of undeclared type or module Mario. Okay, so I can't do that exactly. And like there's no, I don't think it's a dot because it's not like, we're not accessing it as a structure. No method name system found for type game in a current scope. Yeah, so exactly. So I guess I would need to have another function implied here to sort of function add system, which this one is going to take self, and it's going to take a system, which is a type string, and well, I may not return anything. It's just going to update that. And so I'm just going to say self dot. Oh, so then it comes right back to the same problem. How do I access system off here? Is it going to be something like this? System is going to be system. Cannot find function system. Okay, so yeah, it's now I'm running to that. Mute Mario, also Mario equals game system NES. Okay, so let's try that. So I have to, when I create, let mute Mario equals this. And then I'm going to remove this function because it's not working. And we're going to say, okay, Mario equals, I think you're somewhat confusing mixing enums and structs. Yeah, I think I am. I think just like going through further and like learning more about the enums here and how they're different, because they're all sort of like, I'm sort of getting, they're similar enough that my brain is sort of having trouble differentiating the mental model between the two of them. I guess it's more of, because if I do another Mario equals game, what is it? Game system? Yeah. System, and then I hand in NES, which can I do into like that? Value assigned to Mario is never read. Yeah, because now Mario has been completely overwritten. Because when I run this again, now it's only system. An instance of game can only be one of the two variants, not both at once. Oh, right. Okay. So this, like the example of what I gave here is not good because this is more for a structure type thing. But what I would want potentially is to, I could have systems and then maybe like, well, that's like back to like the structure that holds enums. But I could have like Mario's structure, like Mario's system is this, and the name is going to be this. Okay. I think it's going to be more of me sort of like going through a little bit more and seeing other different, like just being more exposed to it until I just understand when to start using them more and more and more. I'm going to put a note in here for anybody who finds it, which is, this is not a good example of enums, but rather it would be better as a struct. Enums can only be one of the values defined, not both at the same time. An instance of game can only be one. Yeah, so perfect. All right, well, I'm going to push this up. So I'm going to quit out of here and let's git status, git add. Yeah, those modified and new file, those are fine. Git commit -m. Working on chapter 6 now, enums. And push this on up. So to make sure that it gets up there in case any of you want to go take a look at it. I do have a link to the Learning Rust repo in GitHub on in the description for both the stream right now and the video that's going to sort of be created from that. Thank you all, Avaris and Felix, for stopping by today and hanging out with me. Also, anybody, if you're lurking, thank you also for stopping by and taking a look. If you're also watching the VOD and you're following along, please feel free to leave a comment on the video. And let me know if there's anything else that you'd love to see about Rust as I'm learning this, or if you're learning this along with me. I do these streams in the morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time every single morning. So it's a great way to sort of keep myself going and learning all these code. But I am running significantly late. I've got to get my day going on so I can get to work on time. With that, thank you again for stopping by, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.